You gotta think about it. Think about it.
Need a good lawyer at a price you can afford? The Q Firm. Quality service quickly.
Oh boy, what you gonna do when the cops stop you? You're gonna need
Peter Q. John and Associates. State and federal courts in the Northern District of Florida. All state and federal courts in Louisiana. Peter Q. John and Associates. 225-293-6262.
What you gonna do when the cops stop you? Oh boy, oh boy.
Hello one and all, and welcome back to episode 3 of the Retro Edcast. So yeah, cheers for the comments, the feedback, the death threats and all of that stuff for episode 2. I don't know, a few further people have been watching or listening to episode 1, so thank you for all the likes and the comments and the banter. I think that's what it's all about in YouTube land. That's what it should be about anyway. Always appreciated. So yeah, what's been happening since the last podcast? So really in the last week or so, I did give an update to the postie on the whole Xbox 360 PS3 situation. I did make it clear that I think opinions were pretty divided. Clearly people sitting in Microsoft or Sony camps, but I think the overwhelming view that we had, and it was a fairly lengthy doorstep discussion, was, and a couple of you made a great point, more than a couple of you, that if he's kind of used to, if he's had the PS1, the PS2, then perhaps the natural progression is the PS3, remain the Sony pony. So I think that's likely what's gonna happen. He's gonna have a look at CEX, otherwise I might be heading there myself at the weekend, so I'll do a little recce on his behalf if needs be. So yeah, cheers for that. It was a retro dilemma that needed sorting. What else? Animal issues, friggin' motherfucking rodents digging up my garden. I think we're on the onset of fox rutting season, where the foxes and wildlife are, starting maybe a bit prematurely, getting a bit jiggy in my garden. So as well as the screams of banshees and all sorts, they seem to be taking out their sexual frustration by digging up my not so lovely lawn, because it does need a bit of TLC. So yeah, bloody animals. But that's not why we're here. Why are we here? So today we're going to be covering the randomest of topics. 10-pin bowling will be number 1. Number 2, I played a bloody RPG, and I completed an RPG, which is most unlike me. So we're talking a little bit about that. Talking about film, haven't had a chance to watch much telly. I've been watching a bit of YouTube, which is always great. But I did watch a film, so we'll come on to that in a little bit. And then perhaps we'll kind of end the show on upcoming releases. So yeah, what's on the pre-order list? But right, 10-pin bowling.
Bowling.
97-cent bowling is back. This Labor Day weekend, bowling is only 97 cents a game from 9 to 7. It's back by popular demand. Friday through Monday, pay only 97 cents a game. Bring your friends and family, even the kids, because bumper bowling lets everyone hit pins. Bowling is perfect for the holiday, so let's get rolling.
At Triangle Bowl Richardson, Showplace Lanes Garland.
Bowling holiday.
So yeah, a couple of weeks ago, myself and the boy, my son, we went along Basildon, deepest, darkest Essex. There's like a festival leisure centre there, and yeah, a few things going down. If you used to go to a couple of the clubs back in the day, they've changed names a gazillion times since then, but they're kind of there. There's a Cineworld, all of the, let's say, the fast foody stroke restaurant-y places that one would expect to find, including a Five Guys. Heard good things about that, but never truly got stuck into one of those Five Guys burgers. I'm a bit of a snob. It's more of a cheapskate, just thinking burgers that hit a certain price threshold just seems a bit, I don't know, it seems a bit OTT, but maybe I should check them out. If anyone's ventured into a Five Guys, then please let me know. But aside from all those things, there is a Hollywood Bowl, and yeah, it was a bit of fun. We went in, we hadn't kind of bowled for a long time. We did our bit, just played a casual game, and then lo and behold, I got the old, can you send us a review? Da da da. And to be fair to them, they were pretty bloody good. My son's, I don't go into it a great deal on here, but my son's got some additional needs, and they kind of picked up on it, and in a very diplomatic way, steered us to quieter bowling lane, ramps, and there was all kinds of stuff that they were really, really good. And so I thought, I'll do the bloody feedback. So I did the feedback, and then I'm assuming everyone that did the feedback got one of these, but sooner rather than later after that, I received a discount, which basically was an opportunity for me to engage into some further bowling. This time, and it was a real bloody mistake, I took the wife. So it was the three of us, me, the wife, and the boy. We headed along, and again, this place was pretty rocking. It was really, really busy, and I've never, I don't know, it always seems fairly popular in these places. I don't know what the appeal of 10-pin bowling is. I mean, it's popular, but not in any kind of bloody professional sense. We're talking about like kids' birthday parties, oldies having some leisure time, or people, drunken middle-aged people. I class myself in that bracket. Just throwing some balls down a well-oiled lane, and nothing. I mean, maybe through films and through other kind of culture stuff I know out in the States, it's a bit of a bigger thing going down in terms of 10-pin bowling. More kind of professional stuff. And it did get me googling, and it turns out there is a British 10-pin bowling association. Don't seem to have very many events, so it doesn't feel too oversubscribed. And there was a winners gallery with some interesting pictures and demographics of individuals who have won or become runners up within this 10-pin bowling association. But yeah, so I was like the balls that we had. The bowling balls that we had at this place were they're a bit chipped, a bit like knackered. So clearly, even though my throw was absolute pants, it wasn't helping the trajectory in any sense, and it was veering off left, right, and centre. I'd put the old gully things up, the thing that stopped the balls going into the gutter. Sounds fucking wrong, doesn't it? For the boy. But yeah, I was exposed, fully exposed at the alley, and with the little chips on the ball, it was veering all over the place. So when I was googling about the British 10-pin Bowling Association, the BTBA, I was also thought, well, I'll have a look at what is the cost of a bowling ball, and I don't know what I was expecting, but it appears they're kind of about between the 100 and 200 quid mark, which is pretty seismic. But that said, I mean, probably need a little bit more. You can kind of customize and get some groovy little designs on there. So yeah, but again, it's not really I mean, the weight of lugging these things back and forth, and probably the damage it would do to the boot of my car, or my wife's lap. She was to be escorting the ball on my behalf. Would be it doesn't really make it worth it. But hey ho. And then somewhere in the midst of this, clearly wasting a lot of time googling, I was made aware that, and I don't know if it happens enough over here, it doesn't feel like it was benefiting my game. These bowling alleys, they have like oiling patterns. They set these oil down on the lanes at a fairly frequent basis to reduce the friction, and also offset the weight of the finger holes in the bowling ball. Apparently it has an impact, but whether or not Baz Vegas is doing any of those shenanigans, I'm unsure. But yeah, a little bit about bowling. Will I go back again? No, it was a bit of a giggle. And then a kind of funky little touchscreen thing. You can order, booze, your soft drinks, I think even your food. So yeah, it was quite early, so it wasn't beer o'clock. It was a little too early for that, but we had some coffees and some fizz, and yeah, it was all in all was pretty good. Recommended. Well, something really peculiar happened in terms of a gaming habit. I picked up, I plugged in, I played, and I even completed an RPG. And I use the excuse of I don't have much time and but that's not really it's not really a reason. I don't think there are save functions in most of these games, if not all of these games. But something kind of piqued my interest with this one. So, and I've never played another game in this series at all. I haven't played very many RPGs, full stop. But I grabbed for the Switch, albeit I think it's available on other systems, the Final Fantasy Pixel Remastered. And I've got to say, I've just played number 1. I think it's 1 to 6 on there. I had an absolute blast. I really did, and so much so that I kind of persevered. I continued. I was taken in by the storyline. Apparently, a common trait for RPGs. They do carry a good plot and a story. The game itself, maybe because it's the first one in the series and because they'd done their remastering, it was self-explanatory on how to play it for the most part. I did do a little bit of Googling when I was just kind of curious as to around some of the spells. I did get a bit stuck on a couple of bits, and I was just like, where the hell do I even need to go? I kind of felt like I'd crawled the map, but apparently I hadn't crawled the map sufficiently. So Googling did help with that. Some moderate Googling. No, it wasn't anything too crazy. Loved the modern tweaks, and this is something that perhaps did piss me off back in the day. The random encounters. So you could, which it was one of the thumbsticks. You literally just prodded in an L3 or an R3, whatever it was, and it turns off. It toggles on and off the random encounters. So I did a bit of that. I think it was the R3, and then if you toggle on the other side, you actually speed up a little bit because the party of Dungeoneers, or the 4 heroes, are a bit bloody slow. So it kind of sped them up a bit, and a bit of quick save as well in the dungeons, which I don't know if that was in the original one. So it was benefits that kind of catered me pretty well. And I've got to say, I was quite surprised at how polished it was. I mean, the world was way bigger than I was expecting, albeit from what I hear, it's probably significantly smaller than other games in the series. But it took me, I think it was about 14 hours. I wasn't rushing through. I was having a little meander around, which was good. I did do a little bit of grinding, because I did with one of the consequences of turning off the random encounters. I was under fucking leveled for some of the battles, and particularly you get to the end chaotic guy. I was like way under, even though I'd literally just been battling bosses pretty much prior to him. You then have to kind of do the old RPG tradition of fighting through all of the bosses again and then doing the final. And he was a MOFO. He wasn't easy. So I did do a bit of grinding action, which was cool. But yeah, will I be playing another? Do you know what? I think I'd like to. I might get stuck into Final Fantasy 2. It feels imminently logical. But if you do have any recommendations, not RPGs that are kind of 100 hours. Treat me gently. Something with some fewer hourage would be nice. You'd chuck any recommendations you've got into the comments, and you'll be loved forever. And next,
where am I?
You've passed away, my son. This is your funeral.
Wow, the new 300. These cars are beautiful.
Let it resound loud as the rolling sea.
I've never looked this good before. How can my family afford all of this?
They made the smart choice. They chose Golden Gate Funeral Home.
The rolling sea.
So I mentioned at the top of this podcast, it isn't a podcast, that I'd watched a film. And indeed I did. So I watched featuring the fab Ewan McGregor, Rebecca Ferguson, who I really recognised. I was like, where the hell is she from? It turns out she's from Dune, and then I think some of the more recent Mission Impossibles. That's where I kind of recognised her from. But I watched Doctor Sleep. So kind of the Stephen King novel, obviously turned into a film. That was I guess it is a sequel, a follow-on from The Shining. You've got what's his name? Danny Torrance, who is grown up. Obviously, Jack Nicholson's son, so he's kind of grown up a little bit. I say grown up a little bit. He's grown into a fucking fully grown man who goes by the actor's name of Ewan McGregor. And so yeah, he's still got these powers that he had in the original. He's still been pretty haunted by it. I'm not going to go into any spoilers, but he's afflicted by an overlove of alcohol, and he kind of connects with people telepathically. Is that the right one, or is that when you're lifting stuff through the mind? He's not lifting stuff and spinning them around the room. Not yet, anyway. But yeah, it was really, really, really good. It kind of bit 2 parts, really, in my opinion. Again, not going to any kind of spoilers, but yeah, definitely you have to watch the original, and you have to re-watch the original prior to watching this one if your memory is as pants as mine, if you want to extract the most from this film. But I think it was good. It was a fairly hefty in terms of duration, but nothing compared to friggin' RPG. So it was, I think, about 2.5 hours, and yeah, it was pretty good. A lot of young actors in there, which can always be a bit of a risk, but I thought they were exceptional. It was pretty disturbing in places. It must have been an 18. Yeah, and so some of the deaths, you've got these vampires, around and about, kind of taking people's spirits. So they're kind of tracking down people that have got the shining, kind of special abilities, and then they kind of draw down on I think it's on their blood and on their breath. They bring out the shine and kill these people, and it kind of gives them a turbo boosts them. And yeah, so it's pretty gnarly, pretty effed up in places, but worth a watch. Sure, it's probably a few years old now. Probably everyone's watched it already, and it's just me. But if you haven't, then I'd recommend it. Upcoming releases. I think by the time this podcast, that isn't a podcast, airs, this one would certainly have come out, because I think it comes out on Thursday. But yeah, another Zelda game, but this time the main character is Zelda. You play as Zelda, you don't play as Link. So this is Zelda's, is it Echoes of Wisdom? It feels like they got some really weird naming generator at Nintendo when you think back, and some of those, yeah, most of the games that they have. But yeah, putting that name to one side, it feels to me anyway a bit of return to form, and it's more of a top-down affair as opposed to a 3D one that we've seen in the likes of Breath of the Wild, Tears of the Kingdom. So yeah, looking forward to playing it. I pre-ordered it, so it should be turning out on Thursday. Hopefully the nice postie will bring it along, and it will be warm and ready to be consumed by the Switch. And yeah, from having a little read up on it when I was pre-ordering it, the same developer that did the remake for Link's Awakening, so I think we should be in good hands. I'm staying away from these proper YouTubers and proper reviewers in the industry that get early access to this thing. I'm staying away from them just to their reviews. I want to kind of I'll make my own decision. And yeah, so looking forward to that. It seems, obviously, like I say, you're playing as Zelda. I think the echo bit seems to be you're creating echoes of objects, like imitations, copies of the objects. So yeah, looking forward to that. And then the other one, it's a big confession now. I've never played this game. I've never played the first game. I played they did a mini-me version of a game, like it was a sequel, I think, or somewhere in the series. Came out last year, like a bit of a freebie. But yeah, Silent Hill 2. So yeah, pre-ordered that for the PlayStation 5. It's bad because I think I've got the HD collection, which what's that for the Xbox? Hasn't gone anywhere. Is it bloody hell? Is it 360? As you probably tell, it's sitting on the shelf. It hasn't gone into any console at all. But yeah, looking forward to checking this one out. I'm not going to bother with those. I'm just going to jump straight into this new. I guess is it another remaster? Seems to be the order of the day at the moment, doesn't it? But yeah, look forward to that. I'll be letting you know probably via this media as to whether or not I'm enjoying it or not. But we'll see if anyone. Yeah, see, not right now unless you're a proper pirate. Yeah, let me know your views. Are you looking forward to it? Are you not looking forward to it? Have you played the originals? Am I the only one that hasn't played the originals? ... But yeah, I do find it's that time of year, and we're slipping. Soon we'll be slipping into October, and I do find a bit more gaming happens in the kind of the autumn, winter months. Obviously, because it's too fucking cold and wet outside, even wetter outside to go out and explore the elements like a lunatic. So I'd much rather be indoors. And also the wife, the Strictly Come dancing and the ice dancing and the belly dance, whatever it is, the jungle celebs, all of that malarkey is properly gets switched on this time of year, and I get switched off. So I politely excuse myself and I go and do some gaming. So we're going to we'll see some more games getting played. It's about bloody time, isn't it, as we approach the end of the year? Well, not quite, but we're the final quarter of the year, so a bit of that. I think that does us, people. So as always, yeah, hit me up in the comments. If you've got any kind of views on stuff, give me a shout. If you'd like to chuck in a stupid advert, as always, certainly does not need to be high fidelity in any sense, because it wouldn't complement the rest of the shoddy editing and behaviour that happens within this podcast. Isn't a podcast. Feel free if you want to contribute by adding a little, a segment, a bit of a shout out for a channel or whatever. Let me know, and of course I will not be giving you any money at all. I'll offer you fame, and like I say, I'll offer you the fame and the fortune, but it'll be a retro ed badge at best. It's about all I can offer people. But yeah, hopefully your generosity and your love for all things random and retro ed will pull you on through, and you'll feel inclined to help this little channel out. And begrudgingly, Bootleg John has recorded the outro, so over to him. Until next time.
Do not forget to dislike and unsubscribe and all that uncool stuff. And by the way, the YouTube algorithm can go and kiss my old sprayed ass.